The first submission, okay, which I would refer to, for lack of a better description, the controversial submission, I agree with. And I'll go around the table to take people's inputs. And those of you listening on social media, feel free to engage with our platforms and share your comments. We cannot simultaneously say we believe in a God, or in Allah, or in the Prophet Muhammad, or in Jesus Christ, where we accept and we proclaim that even before things happen, it is set in God's will. That even 10 years from now, whatever is going to happen on today's date is 13th November. 13th November in the year 2035 has already happened in God's eye, because he is omnipotent and he is absolute. The days don't unfold for God. God unfolds the days.
Okay.
So we are going to meet 2035 November 13th. In God's eye, he knows where we all will be there.
Yeah.
Whether kafra, God forbid, that is your day to go. It has happened in God's eye. From a philosophical and a religious standpoint, she's absolutely right. That's why we go to church, to go and proclaim, God, let thy will be done. And based on that, whatever is done, we accept as God's will. Yes?
Yeah.
The only problem I have with their submission is the timing. People will be in shock and awe, because at that time we are more emotionally overwhelmed and processing pain than we are being philosophical and ideological. But she didn't say anything wrong, because if you watch that, the more time passes as you watch that video, the more you understand her and the more it seems to make sense. My only problem with Honorable was the timing. I don't know about you, Lenny. Claire's truth.
Okay, so I strongly believe that, we say that God gives and God takes, right? But I also believe that sometimes humanness interferes with it, because that's why you'd hear people say that someone has passed, but it was not their time. It's just like you've been promised long life, maybe 100 years, and then you go and stand on the N1 when you see a big truck coming. And then you say that someone said to you that you were promised 100 years, so you will not die.
Yeah.
That truck will knock you and you may lose your life. And then we'll say that you died before your time, right? So even though God knows what happens or what doesn't happen, God gives, God takes. God knows the timings of our lives. I also believe that sometimes our doings or misdoings,
Free will.
yes, our doings or misdoings also lead to loss of lives.
Yeah.
So imagine that yesterday everything went well. There was no stampede. There will not be any losses, right? And then what will we say about that?
So it was a successful.
Do you understand?
screening.
Yeah. So I think that sometimes certain decisions that we make is just like a man and his wife, happily married. They are okay. There's everything going on nicely. Then today, the woman decides that let me drop poison in the man's food and see.
Wait, why did she check his phone?
Or the man, or the man says that let me use a knife to slit my wife's throat and see what will happen. When the person passes, it's because of what you did. If you hadn't done what you did, nothing would have happened. So I also believe that God's timing is there, but human interference.
That is the will of God.
No.
Hear me out. I'm not saying God is
I don't
creating
think
crazy
so.
people, please. I am saying that nothing we are doing, again, if you are going to be absolutely drenched in faith, nothing you are doing is your will.
It has already been written down.
But they also say that you are the
submission
architect of your own life.
You see,
there's that as well.
That is the contradictory nature of the whole thing, right? Because it cannot simultaneously be your architecture and also
then the
be
Lord's will.
The Lord's architecture. So one person has to build this house, or it to be a crooked house. That is the question here. That us coming here today, doing this show, these words coming out of my mouth, it's already happened in God's eyes. There's no wisdom in my coconut that is coming out. It's God doing it. That's if you are religious. But if you are somebody who submits to the power of the will of man, then I can say something right now obscene and destroy my own career. My choice to not do that, is that God's will or is that my common sense?
So, can I?
You can, please.
You know how I mentioned free will when Lenny was talking, right? You think that when God was creating the earth, he created Adam and Eve, he didn't know that there was going to be something that will happen. He knew it because he's all-knowing, like we understand and like we believe. But there is something called free will, and that is what Lenny is saying, that even if when someone tells you that, oh, I have this prophecy about you, and you believe that person so much, or even God came down to tell you that, you know what, you're going to live for 100 years, he's also going to give you free will to obey or disobey his words, because there are certain things you're not supposed to do, there are certain things you're supposed to do. So if you say that, oh, because yes, of course, I have 100 years to live, I'm going to do anything, you will lose your life, and you go and ask God that, I thought you said you gave me 100 years to live.
God's intention for you is a plan. It is not an imposition.
Yes, it's not an imposition. Okay. We have free will.
So he
to
knew
do what
that
he wants
Eve,
to do.
the first woman, would destroy all of us our lives, but he let her go and do it.
You see, it's just like Hezekiah in the Bible,
Aye.
right? He was told, he was sent a prophet to tell him that he was going to die, right?
Yeah.
But he went and he prayed.
And then overturned it.
Yes, and it was overturned. You see, so imagine Hezekiah said, oh, okay, God sent a prophet, it's okay,
so let me take it.
I'll take it like
May
that.
the death come upon me.
Yes, he would have died. He wouldn't have had his life lengthened. It's just as some people too, I hear some people are told that, oh, maybe you can't give birth, or you can never get married, or your life will go in a certain way. If you accept it, it's okay for you. But there are some people who are also told
contest
that
it.
Exactly, they reject it right when they pray about it, and before you know, that person is a mother of quintuplets or twins or triplets. Then we call that a miracle.
A miracle.
Do you understand? So I think that humans
For
also
me,
have a role to play.
I just think that, obviously what happened is a very sad incident.
And
everybody is sensitive to the news. my very own mommy, me when I saw the video at first, I didn't take offense to it, maybe because of my Islamic background. I was like, oh yeah, I get what she's trying to say. But then when you deep it, is the mode of delivery and the body language with the way she said that thing. Is the will of God. You see, if your family member has died and you watch that woman talking there, I'm sure you go to there somewhere there if you catch it. But it's just sometimes it's like when the plane crash happened. A friend of mine went to TikTok to go and do a video I thank God because my father was supposed to be on that aircraft and something happened. They called him, so thank God he did not die.
Many people insulted
her. The other people said, share. So the people that their parents and this one died. They God doesn't love them. God doesn't love them. So you see, sometimes we just have to learn how to speak. Timing.
So the message is beautiful, but the mode of delivery.
There was a girl who was complaining. She was crying that she just went to the mortuary and saw her sister lying there, and she doesn't even know how to feel. So someone like that, right?
They go and tell her that
to tell her that it's God's will. God takes, God gives. Like that's not the time to tell them that.
Because also you know that anyone who passed yesterday, God rest their souls, could have woken up yesterday and said, you know what, I'm not feeling too good, or even though I've bought the forms,
I don't feel like going.
It's okay. They'll be alive today. Do you understand? So
no,
and that kind of death. But that kind of death is hard because it's not like you were living with the person was sick. You know, the person
it's just goes like that
and come. So that is not the best thing to tell the person who has lost someone in that moment.
Especially also because Amy is saying this, right? You know when someone is sick. And you know that
you
it's
start to
terminal
prep yourself.
Exactly. And even that you see how you cry and you ask questions.
Even though you know that
so imagine someone is
coming. They just left him say, oh,
I'm going to get a job potentially.
Job you didn't get.
Your life,
your body too, you didn't bring it back.
It's just
Charlie,
really sad.
I think the ultimate is that this is a very huge issue of perspective. If you lost someone or you could empathize with the loss that people faced yesterday, these shenanigans and proverbs and things we are saying will all sound like nonsense. If you are removed from it and deeply entrenched in your religious doctrine, you might look at it to process your pain and your shock through the word of God and make it God's will. And
Cyril, look, I don't mean to cut you off. There's this story of a pastor, right? Every time a member of his church lost a child, a relative, or a spouse, he would come to visit you and then tell you, it is God that gives. He's the same person that takes away. Take heart. No worry. Until one day, he also lost his wife and his child in an accident. And then the church members came to visit him and they said, oh, Shofo, Yami not the ma. Oh, no. To Kwasia. So you see how it is. Sometimes, until it happens to you, it's easy to say it. Oh.
I understand. Yeah, I mean to cut you. Our lines are going to be open any moment now. 020-400080, 020-40,080. Call in and share your opinions, your views, and your inputs. Please, no disrespectful inputs, no insults, none of that. We keep it clean and holistic here, so do that. Now, there's a conversation also when we saw the copious amounts of youth, the sea of youth that trooped each regional center for this recruitment. There was a misconception, like I said earlier, that the fallacy of composition that every youth now has a tripod and a ring light. Everybody is a social media something. Creator, dancer, actor, every job title starts with social media. Social media into bracket, add your own. Social media cook, social media reviewer, social media, what everybody's social media.
Yesterday, Lenny mentioned that she says she does perfume review. Me too, I've decided I'll do Chalwote review. All the different Chalwotes. I'll do my own.
You never know how that.
You see,
that can take you so far.
Bluebird,
because you never heard a thing like that. So
well, before I make my huge submissions, we've got our first caller, Prince from Lashibi. We're going to put Prince on the line and listen through to Prince. Prince, good morning. Welcome to Culture Daily.
Good morning, Cyril.
I'll be vibe. What's up? Charlie,
good morning to your
Charlie, everybody hear you. They receive them. How be your side? Yesterday, an issue, the tragedy. What do you make of it? What do you have to say to us, bro?
Well, to be honest, our leaders is the first point that we need to check on. Our leaders are not serious about us, even in one thing. Even in one thing. Imagine one of the military officers. At that moment, probably they are not in the military, and their son or daughter tends to buy the bomb and wants to come to the screening. And probably in like an hour, you will be hearing that your son or your daughter has just had due to this unplanned situation at the screening at home. How would you feel? We want to ask that leader who led them at the screening. How would you feel? How would you feel? And the bridge.
My brother, I feel your pain. I mean, the main issue you're describing here is that there seems to be a lack of prioritization, Kafra, and seriousness when it comes to attending to the youth. And that is a sentiment that a lot of people have shared. I mean, we've seen the Minister of Youth, Honorable Pablo, putting some special initiatives in place to try and attend to the many needs of the youth. But I mean, those are all early days and hopefully in the right direction. But in general, even before this administration, the youth have not been front and center on our national agenda. And I think it's time that, you know, we have a solid wake-up call. Even though it didn't need this tragedy, I think you have a very valid point. If it was a military man, and I'm sure there are military casualties in there, even if not those who passed away, unfortunately, those who were traumatized, those who stood there for hours without. I heard people couldn't leave the line to go get food or water because you'd lose your place. So imagine standing there from 2 a.m., 4 a.m., with a small bottle of water, and that's all you have. And it's afternoon, and you are thirsty, hungry. You need to go and pee. You can't do any of that. It's a very inhumane setting that definitely needs to be looked at. So thank you, Nee. Up next, we have Jonathan from Ashaman, who's joining us on the call as well. Jonathan, welcome to Culture Day. Hello, Jonathan. Good morning. Welcome to Culture Daily's Big Convo. Can you hear me? Is Jonathan on the line? I think we've lost Jonathan there for a second. Let me speak to my ladies. Ladies, do you think as a country we do not prioritize the youth? Hey, the size alone and the clear of fruits. Nobody want trouble. Do you think it's a very valid generic question? As a country, I'm not concerned about political regimes.
If we make it a generalization, then we would also be doing our leaders a great disservice. I think that we prioritize the youth. Maybe the fine-tuning of what happened yesterday wasn't done right. Maybe upon seeing the numbers, they could have split them up to say that, you know what, today we can only take 1,000 people or maybe 2,000 people. Then over the next couple of days, we would handle everybody else, right? I think that it is because the leaders prioritize the youth. That's why they've opened up recruitment. Recruitment is happening across board. It's because our leaders prioritize the youth. That's why there's a thing as education. That's why there's a thing as employment, even generally. That's why there's a thing as national service, right? Maybe they may not be doing it to the taste of other people. Maybe we wish that they do it better or they do more. But to say that the youth is not prioritized is
okay. I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, this was an intention to help and prioritize the youth, and something went wrong. Big O from Kwabenya. Good morning, bro. I hear you on the line. Talk to me, bro.
Hello?
Yeah, Big O, you're live on 3 Music TV and on Plus. Talk to me.
Shout outs to you guys. You are doing an amazing job.
Big shout outs to you too, bro.
Appreciate everything you are doing.
Talk to me, bro. Yesterday's tragedy, the whole recruitment thing, people's dreams now turn to tragedy. What's going on in your mind?
Bro, on the road, this is very bad. Our leaders are not trying for us. Because I realized, I did a little investigation, and I realized you have to pay 3.5 for a form.
Which is 350 cedis.
This is not bad. This is very bad. This is very, very bad. You can't do this. Because
oh, we lost Big O there. Big O. Well, he was talking about the forms and the purchasing on the forms and all that.
I was actually going to mention that because I think yesterday when the comments were flooding, somebody said, "Hey, Miss Zango, you 3.5 from me crown."
Is that? I mean, pardon my ignorance. Was that the official cost?
Someone said the official cost is 200 cedis.
So how come people were paying 350?
I don't know. Because I also saw that comment. Someone wrote a lengthy article
about
why we are paying.
You know, there's one proverb that always, or idiom, or I keep mixing them up.
Yeah.
Why saying that always applies to Ghana? A ship doesn't sink because of the water around it.
It's the water that gets inside.
It's the water that gets inside. You understand? The idea that a form is 200 cedis to make it affordable for everybody. And then somebody in the middle of the solving the problem, no,
add 150.
Easy. Jay Foley is on the line. I don't know why he's calling. It's not the grace of God, like I won't pick, but morning, Mr. John. Morning.
Anyway, thank God you're not in charge of taking phone calls. So I thank the people at the back end who are making that happen. But I couldn't just hold myself back from this conversation. And that's why I also want to just do a small contribution. So good morning to your panel and your fellow friends who are all on there. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. But let's get serious on this. So my concern here, if I were in the studio, I'll fight you. I'll battle you out on this. Thank you very much. I'll battle you out on this is anticipation. And many a time we have seen issues of crowd control
being wrongly handled in this country. Now, I'll take us back to from elections to various things. Even, I love Shatawale. Thank God nothing happened at the recent concert that was organized where we are still battling the numbers over 300,000 here. But conversations around crowd control in this country is another thing we need to look at, and anticipation. It is anticipated that at such a recruitment, you would have a lot of people come. Because last year, we had a lot of people there. Last 2 years, people were there as well. But the fact that nothing happened on those occasions, that doesn't mean that we don't have to anticipate growth in numbers. Because the population is increasing by the day. So definitely, whether there's unemployment or employment, the numbers clearly on the trajectory and the statistics as shown on recruitment processes in the times past, the numbers increase. So the question now becomes, as we are about to do another recruitment, what are we anticipating? First things, provision of enough ambulances in case of emergency, because at any crowd activation, you will need ambulances. You will need police personnel to help with crowd control. I'm very sure Tyler Reeve will be doing those things. Look at what Tyler Reeve did last year, the event. Look at the hell we had to go through to get into the event center. Good hell, I mean. Going through so many processes just before you even get a chance to get to the main gate. Because the longer you stretch the crowd in how they get there, the better. And everybody expects that at a military recruitment held at a military zone, discipline
should
the
be
best
100%.
people in this country who know how to manage crowd in terms of do their things organized, as we see visually, is the military. So we would expect that we should see a certain level of discipline, because when you enter the camp, nobody tells you not to drop people there because you know you're in a military zone. So the question is that in anticipating another recruitment, what are the things that were marked down as the things that can happen in case in organizing such an event? And for me, that's when it comes to crowd. There's increase in numbers. So how do we go about that? That should have been checked. If you watch the videos, clearly, do you see any ambulance there? There may have been an ambulance, but do you see ambulances there? You don't spot them at vantage points that are easily accessible. I don't know if you were there, but I'm speaking from optics. If you watch restrooms, do you see how many of them scattered around there? You don't. Clearly, again and again, and these are things that's how come people are upset, because we are expecting the people who are organizing this thing to do better for them. Now, I'm told people went there wrongly. People were not even supposed to be there that they were there. But you can't blame the people because they are hungry. And when people are in hunger mode and they enter that space, they enter survival mode. And survival mode, you can't restrict a human being when the person is willing to do anything to survive. And that's what happened there yesterday. People want to survive. So people who hadn't been attended to last 4 years, people who hadn't attended to last year, people who are trying their luck, people who are desperate, people who are looking for all means to survive were at their premises, hoping that some luck will strike on their path for them to be able to get a chance to get employed. Forget if it's military, employment. Now, the question comes back again, like I said in the beginning. Did they anticipate this? And for me, if they didn't anticipate this, then it's a problem that we need to solve. Somebody's head must roll for this because people died. God forbid if it were my sister, because I heard we were all females, that had passed on, nothing any leader is saying today in Parliament would make me happy. Enjoy your show.
Yes, Jay Foley there with very stirring comments there, but very accurate as well. The main issue and something I concur with is our lack of crowd control. I am the biggest critic, and I've said here a lot of times that I don't go for a lot of these social events because how to go and experience the thing is a turn off for me. Like, where will I park my car? How will I enter? Some security guy is talking to me. I told you the last time I went to a show and the security guy used his elbow to train. The way I looked at him up and down, I left the ticket on the counter and looked at the counter girl and says, I told her that I am embarrassed for you, and I left. Bombo clad show. I left it there. Again. They're like, maybe about show out a ticket. That some guy use his elbow, train. The way I looked at him and looked at the girl crying, the girl was like, "Oh, please pass." Then, "Oh, please pass." And I was like, "Me, take your ticket. How dare you?" And we have that problem everywhere. Even the events that are organized by the church.
Yes.
Crowd control is horrible. As a people, the moment everybody wants to be the first to enter. Moses from Accra, HSC Estate, is on the line. Let's hear Moses. Moses, good morning. Are you on the line? Hello, Moses. Are you on the line?
Okay, I just wanted to ask whether the show you are. Hello?
We can hear you, Moses.
Hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. The whole Ghana is listening, sir.
I just wanted to know if all this you are showing us, you are asking us, are the ministers also watching it? Because if they are watching it, then I think they are not doing their work very well. Because how can you finish university and be at home expecting to be employed? You write applications and they are not seeing you out. And they are asking us that we should look for work. And these are some of the actions that we are seeing. If truly they are listening to you sitting there, then I think they are not doing their work very well. If that is the case, then they are not doing their work very well, because we voted for you to see us through, and you are not doing your work. So what does it mean that we voted for you to come and lead? Is it to spend the money or what? Because if you are a leader, you need to see your people through all situations. Because I can't finish uni and be looking for work, and me looking for the work, I have to die for that. What would be the essence of me going to uni? Because we all needed work after uni. So imagine if I'm your brother looking for work and I went there and I'm dead. What will you do? You see, they have plotted a place for their families. And we, the people who voted them into power, we are rather dying for them. So I'm just asking, if they are really watching you, listening to radios, then I think they have something to work for. They are not doing their work well. Thank you.
Very valid points. Again, citizens are concerned if they are being prioritized. Like Jay Foley said, it's time for some wake-up calls. Like he has said, the youth are not necessarily prioritized as they should be. My statement, and I'm going to say this, and this is going to sting. There is a preference within this country by the youth for certain institutions. Every time there is a change in government, most of the times, there is a rush for immigration, police, nurse, military. There's a list. If you check the news cycle, there's a list of institutions that get so much pressure because they are on government payroll. And the idea is that if you manage to squeeze into any of these institutions, if your pay delay cry 1 or 2 strikes, they'll pay you. So if you notice, every time a government changes, immigration, recruitment, nurses, military, police, it's always the same conversation. But our unemployment problem in Ghana cannot be solved by these four institutions. Do the youth want to work in agriculture? Do the youth want to farm? Because there's a big deficit when it comes to our agricultural sector. We need hands, millions of people to work to make Ghana's agricultural sector be what it is. There's a ton of other institutions that need young, strong, smart graduates, non-graduates, you name it. But everybody wants to go to one sector. And me, I'm speaking for me who didn't go to any sector. So you can't say me, I went to this sector and I'm on radio talking. Also, nobody took me to any sector. Me, go and ask about me. My baby. Bush, are they there? You see me on TV in the morning, are they there? Maybe you enter some boardroom, are they there? You enter some karaoke and rapping there. Hey. Bossu, there is a mindset that needs to shift. We cannot have a country where we have such a magnitude of arable lands and our agri sector is dying. I know John and his senior minister are doing their best trying to put things together, and Godspeed to them, because if they do it, I'm sure that this military line will be half. If we find a way to mechanize our agri sector, a way to make it appealing, a way to clean up the value chain so that people can see that agriculture is not for poor people. Teaching is not for poor people in villages. That when they post people to teach somewhere, they'll cry, bah, bah, bah on TikTok. My national service has come out. You see, when they have posted me to go and teach. Who should go and teach?
Doesn't want to go to that.
I've seen all those videos. We've all seen those videos. People are posted to go and teach Kute basic 1, 2, 3. You are in Ghana. None of our presidents came from flamboyant homes. Kwame Nkrumah, he didn't come from the Trasaco of his time. Atta Mills, he didn't come from none of them. It's the same dirty basic school in the corner you don't want to go and do your national service. That's where our leaders came from. Who are you to determine which school has value for you, your habitat, to go and teach? Or which farm is too bad that Lenny cannot go and manage or work? There is a problem which is bigger. What Jay Foley and our callers have said is all on point. 500%, I'm with them. But those are the step B of the problem. Because if our employment sector opened minds to all these other sectors, there will be very few people who would want to join the military. And those few people would be the right people, not desperate people.
Not people pushed by hunger.
Not people pushed by hunger. Yesterday, I was on the hashtag and checking the blah, 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 blah. I saw about 6 different interviews. Hand on my chest, not one person spoke good English. And you know, since the time that we have been here, no, then it's like they started and then they push it. Kafra. The military, which is going to serve and protect this country, where tacticians, strategists, military minds, disciplined minds need to be born. Intellect is non-negotiable. Minka say brofo is intellectual, but brofo is one of the first symptoms of intellect that you see. I'm not saying that everybody who speaks English is automatically intelligent or brilliant or whatever. But if you are building the army, your ability to express yourself, these recruits, I know they are not, these would-be recruits, I know they are not military people yet. But your spatial awareness to be able to explain the scenario that you yourself have just been in. If you are failing so horribly, that what happened around you in the last 1 hour.
How can you speak for
now,
me?
when I send you to the battlefield and it's people are dying left, right, center, how will you make it back to base and tell your commander what is happening there?
Base one.
Roger, what is going on?
And
you see, it's funny, but do you see where that's my shock yesterday when I was watching the video?
Another shock for me yesterday was you're going for a security service enrollment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Whatever the case is, you don't have discipline enough to even wait your turn in line or whatever the case, because we also expect that for these security services as well, you have the highest level of discipline.
Yeah.
Okay, we expect that you are conscious, too aware of your space to be able to do this. Is just such sadness.
Look at the ones that climbed on the wall.
Yes, like
you want to join military, and by the time that they are coming to screen you, this is the behavior.
You are climbing a wall. You see,
a stampede doesn't start in the void.
Yes.
It's one unsmart person who would nudge and cause panic, and that rippled effect.
Everybody started
and it's most
running.
of the time. Do you know what kills you in a stampede? I was watching a stadium analyst. Do you know what kills you in a stampede? Not moving. I'll find it on YouTube, and I know there's not a conversation that will end today. The worst thing you can do in a stampede is stand still. Do you know why?
They'll run you over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Force is transferred for you to be idle. And that wave of kinetic energy to build up.
Push.
Yeah.
Even on impact, before you hit the ground, you might pass out.
Yeah.
Then there's about the people who trample on you. The worst thing and this is advice to everybody, the worst thing you can do in a stampede, if you are going to stand still in a shelter or in a place where, but in the middle of the crowd, you
are standing
where you
still.
say,
They'll push
God
you.
forbid. That's the worst thing. So the people who suffered the most in this stampede were the ones who didn't do anything. Whoever, whatever demon entered whoever, to cause the problem for the stampede to start, whether it was how they opened the gates, whether it was the first few people who rushed in, whether it was a military person who had pushed one person back, whatever it could have been. That is the problem. The dead people is the side effect of the problem.
Yeah.
The bigger problem is why so many people came and so many of them obviously don't belong.
Cyril, before you conclude,
when I said I was driving through them,
before you conclude, hold on.
Well,
we have an eyewitnesses report, so let's go watch that, and then now we'll also better understand from someone who was on ground.
Well, I said I drove there. I made a mistake. I didn't take my junction. I drove there. There were ladies and men walking away from that place. Their stomach bigger than my own. Quite all.
They'll train.
Oh, we don't have time for that. There's a minimum entry. No, they do a physical screening, and there's a small test. It's funny. It's funny because yes, I want to present it in jest, but there's a small physical screening, and there's it's not body shaming. There's a body criteria that you need to fit. There were people that I'm not in the military, but I know that all quiet jewo. But they were also there in the white t-shirt. We need 3 or 4 pre-screening.
Have to check everything.
Check.
Stomach, shoulder, back.
Let's call for the video that Lenny's speaking about. Let's have a listen and see.
Screening shouldn't end in death. We came for screening, and then because of the mass or the crowd we met here, we didn't have a stepping place. Everywhere was choked. And then because of that, our military, or let me say our security personnel, were telling us to go home. Whilst we know that today is the day we are supposed to report for our screening. And then when they were doing that, we insisted because it's today, and they are telling us we should come on. They said the Air Force should come tomorrow, that's Thursday, Navy Friday, and then Army on Saturday. But we should have information on our phones, like how they gave us information, said we should report today at our screening centers. It should have been so. They didn't give us any information, then they are telling us to go home. So because of that, we got stranded. And then we also didn't want to go because we don't know what might happen. And then they were hitting us with their sticks and other stuff. And then even some were pouncing on us with their wild dogs. And then people were falling. Some even lost their life through that. Yes. So I think that was the reason why the screening.
Footage there from our reporting team, live from the site there yesterday. One of the would-be candidates there sharing his own personal experience. Well, you heard it. I mean, look, and back to my point. There's a body type for the military. It's today that the military is becoming progressive. That maybe a hand here and here. But like Yai is saying, if war pie, it's not now we are going to wait for Cyril to catch up. I am not military material. If I want to go for
hoist
military,
you up there.
when my troop has jumped over the wall,
they
should
bring
not say
your
Cyril,
hand.
I'm not military material. Me, I can report the news that the Ghana platoon has won.
Oh, by situations like that, they leave you.
They'll leave you.
No.
So you see, it's funny, but like half of the people there, on the physical alone, Bankuni, you don't belong there.
Yesterday, somebody said, unrelated, but Ghana has a portion problem. Do you know that? It was on the back of a video of one of the eyewitnesses, and they was like, "Do you be honest with me? What do you know, Minra? I'm a vigilance."
The issues are every issue we've addressed today is equally serious.
Yes.
So I don't want us to close the show on a note of jest.
I
Like
would
we are
say
laughing
show.
of You understand?
I would say shoe. Yeah, I would say.
Sure. There's the issue of the systems. There's the issue of unemployment. There's the issue of crowd control. There's the issue of us also being honest and knowing we didn't belong in that queue at all.
But by force.
But by force, we didn't work with shame.
The issue of also knowing what to say at what time.
There's also an issue of knowing what to say at what time. Lots of valid issues, all equally important and potent and necessary for our national development and progression towards a better society. May the souls that found their way yesterday rest in peace. May the families be consoled. May they find their own peace and solace in the notion that God knows best. It is unfortunate and it is something that we cannot take their pain away, and we just pray with them that their pain subsides and they find some meaning